Have you been told you need to stop doing what you love, whether it's exercise, running, or a sport? Well, here at Dynamic, we don't like that answer. In this podcast, we'll talk to leaders in the health and wellness space from Southwest Florida to get the solutions you need to get you back to doing what you love. Welcome to the Dynamic Naples Podcast. What's going on in Southwest Florida? Today, I'm going to be talking about diet and how it can influence joint pain. So wear and tear, right? That's what we've been told. Too much running, bad for the knees. I think that's an old paradigm that needs to be thrown into the garbage. So I've come up with S.A.D and POOR instead of wear and tear. So S.A.D stands for Standard American Diet, and POOR would be poor body mechanics. As of course, if you run with really sloppy form, and I'm just taking running and knee pain basically as an example for joint pain today. If you run with poor mechanics, sure, you could upset the knee. But I want to get more into the dietary causes of joint-related pain. But first off, there was a study done in 2020 that found that cartilage loss is correlated with only a small amount of actual pain in the knee. And pain is also really associated with the synovitis of the knee, so inflammation of the tissue that lines the capsule. Then another study came out also in 2020. It looked at 1,194 subjects over a 10-year period, and they found that long-term low to moderate physical activity or any strenuous activity was not associated with evidence of radiographic knee arthritis. And so there's more and more of these studies that are coming out just saying that running does not seem to exacerbate or cause any arthritis. In fact, some studies have found kind of the opposite. So another study looked at followed a group of people over 14 years, and there was a strong correlation between disc degeneration of the thoracic and lumbar spine. And this is inactive people. So we're getting more arthritic changes with more sedentary behaviors and less so with activity. And this sort of makes sense. There's something called Wolff's Law, W-O-L-F-F, Wolff's Law. Okay, that basically states that a tissue responds to the stimulus placed upon it or not placed upon it. So in other words, if you want to get a muscle stronger, you have to stress it to a certain degree to grow it. Same of muscle, tendons, cartilage, ligaments, all respond to Wolff's Law. The opposite is also true. If you don't do anything, your muscles will atrophy. Well, the same thing happens to our bones and cartilage. Right? That's why astronauts go out into space and they come back with osteoporosis, because we evolved to put pressure through the earth, through gravity. That's what stimulates us to grow and maintain our bones. And if you remove that stimulus, then the body is like, well, I guess I don't need bones. So it starts to take away some of the calcium, some of the matrix of the bone. So I just wanted to start with that because I wanted just to point out that movement is important for developing bones, and it's not going to damage you, at least if you're not doing something with bad mechanics. So now let's get into some of the diet stuff. So standard American diet we know is loaded with vegetable oils and sugars. This triggers chronic inflammation, and it also will trigger insulin resistance. So anything that's pro-inflammatory, and they found this in a study in 2017, can lead to the breakdown of the articular cartilage in the extracellular matrix. So it's looking a lot like poor food choices can lead to chronic inflammation and therefore some widespread degeneration. And so when it comes to the actual pain, I mentioned earlier there was a study that found that the pain seemed to be more correlated with a synovitis of the knee and inflammation of the synovium, and this is where insulin resistance comes into play. So insulin, under normal circumstances, helps maintain the synovial fluid. The synovial fluid is sort of the lubrication of the joint. So once you become insulin resistant, it stops having its effect, and now you don't have the same level of synovial fluid inside the joint. Also, insulin plays an important role in keeping our bones strong, in that it basically supports osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are cells that build bone, and it inhibits osteoclasts. Osteoclasts are cells that break down bone. So it basically supports bone growth. And so once you become insulin resistant, it stops having that effect. There's also a correlation between decreased vitamin D levels and insulin resistance. So I've been saying for a long time that there is a overlap between autoimmune disease and insulin resistance, and it seems to be vitamin D. It keeps showing up time and time again. And speaking of autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis is definitely a known cause for joint-related pain. In the last episode, I talked a lot about autoimmunity, so I don't want to belabor the point. Just a refresher, autoimmune seems to be coming from vitamin D deficiency once again, molecular mimicry, and in the last episode, I kind of forgot to mention that viruses such as Epstein-Barr virus have also been implicated in autoimmune disease. Lastly, we have gout. Gout is a joint-related pain. That's a buildup of uric acid. And we know that insulin resistance can inhibit excretion of uric acid. So a lot of foods get blamed for gout, but one of the things that gets overlooked is your A1C levels. So that wraps this one up, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Do you have unexplained pain, or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great way to stay ahead of any health conditions, and now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's liver function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It's sent to you with free shipping, and you get your results in 2 to 5 days, no physician referral needed. Use the code DPT30 for 30% off. Go to letsgetchecked.com and use the code DPT30. Did you know that you can get started with physical therapy without a physician's referral? Physical therapists don't just solve pain, we get down to the root cause and keep it from coming back. We also discuss all things health, such as nutrition and lifestyle changes. If you feel that you could use some help, let's get on a free consult call. Go to www.dynamicnaples.com and sign up for a free call. Also, if you like this podcast, please give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us spread the message. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.